I'm live now. Okay, good. Sorry it took me a little bit longer than what I wanted to get live, but for some reason Safari on my Mac just says that my camera's not supported, so I had to search really quick and get to Google Chrome. But day is like a big day for me, and this little event that I'm doing here is something that's really important to me. All right, because I am known as Coach Wilson, right? That's what most people call me as. Most people call me Coach Wilson, and I just finished my first 3 years as a head coach of a high school football team, and being a high school football coach was like a dream of mine, right? This is from my State Farm people right here. Wilson realizes a dream. It was when I was introduced as a head football coach at the high school level, and it was an absolutely childhood dream of mine, is to be a high school football coach. I still remember the moment when I realized that man, I want to coach high school football. I was in youth football at South Fayette, and Saturday youth football played at the high school field, and I was playing for the 10 and 11-year-old team, and the 12 and 13-year-old coaches would sit up top, and they would talk about the game, and they would and I would also see those same guys sitting up in the same part of the stands for the high school games too, and I just thought, man, those guys are so cool, and I wanted to be a high school football coach from then on. And 27 years later, when I was 37, I finally got my first shot, and I couldn't have asked for a better experience. It's being a high school football coach is something that I feel is my calling, but I also know that there have been so many folks along the way who have spoken into my life, who have helped me become Coach Wilson, and it helped me be able to do a lot of the things that I've done. And so from here on out, from every Thursday, I've got 3 of them lined up so far. I'm going to do a Facebook Live event Thursday nights at 8, where I'm going to invite the person that I want to thank to the live stream, and I'm just going to spend as much time as I want to talking about how this person helped me become a high school football coach, and helped me be great at being a football coach, the best that I could have been. Because this is just to show you some of the these are some of my accomplishments here. These are some of my Coach of the Year trophies. There's the front page when I won the state championship the first time, the front page of the sport page. Then we defended our title the second year, and we got a front page here, Coach of the Year award trophies, and all sorts of things. And so my first three years as a head coach couldn't have gone any better, and it was a childhood dream of mine. And but one of the coolest things that I got was this notebook right here that's got this is what the seniors from this year gave to me. They each wrote notes to me, handwritten letters of how I've spoken into their life. And so now I want to start paying that forward and sharing with those who've spoken into my life and helped me become a high school football coach, and just share with them and anyone else who wants to hear just exactly how they did it. So enough of the preamble, the introduction here. Tonight I want to honor Ken Radinick, Coach Radinick. He was my high school defensive coordinator, right? And he was a guy that played at Pitt, back in the day, played college football at Pitt, and so here was this college football player who is now my defensive coordinator at the varsity level. And he's like 6'5", just like a big guy, and just full of energy, full of life. And like, I looked up to this guy a lot, right? Like, I really looked up to Coach Radinick. And he was actually the first person that named me coach. And like, I'm going to share that story and a couple other stories from him that I think are just really cool, really awesome, and I can't wait for him to watch these things here. But Coach, like, I'm telling you, you have never been far from my heart or my mind ever since I stopped playing high school football. You and Coach Babish are the single two greatest influences I've had in my life as it pertains to being a high school football coach and what type of high school football coach that I want to be. There have been a lot of tough times in my life, and remembering how you all spoke in my life and how you all made me feel got me through a lot of really tough times. And you all set the standard for who I need to live up to, is because the impact that you made on me, like, words will never be able to do it justice. I'm telling you, like, words will never be able to accurately share how much you've spoken into my life and how much you've helped shape me as a person. All right? And so I just want to say thank you from the very bottom of my heart. Like, thank you for being my high school football coach. Thank you for treating me the way that you did. Thank you for just giving me some awesome memories, right? And so I started my journey to be a high school football coach, really started it when I was 30 years old. So I'm 30 years old. I'm back at college at the University of Georgia. And post high school, like growing all the way up through high school, I was a football nut, right? Like, I have drawn every single play you can think of from every single formation that you can think of, right? I used to just sit there quietly in my class, never pay attention in class, it was just drawing plays. And I'd start with the I formation, 20, 21 dive, 22 dive, 23 dive, 24, and just would keep going on, and I would go to offset eye, power eye, then I do tight eye, I do double wide, I do single wide, I do all these things, and I run every play that you could possibly think of, I would draw it up. And so football was just a huge passion of mine growing up. But after high school, when I went to college, I started working for the men's basketball team at WVU, and I spent less time around football programs there and more around basketball programs. And so I'm 30 years old. I'm back at college. I'm working for the women's basketball team at the University of Georgia under a legendary coach, Andy Landers, who I hope to at one point get on this show right here, because that man also spoke into my life a lot there. And I'm also working for the Atlanta Hawks in the NBA as a basketball development instructor at the time. And so, like, I'm going to school in Athens, Georgia, working for the women's team, and in my free time, I'm driving all the way to Atlanta to work camps and clinics and practices and events and all that other good stuff for them. But there was just something that, like, was calling in my heart. I got this email one day of where there was an opportunity to be a youth football coach for the Athens Oilers. And I got one of my coaches from the Athens Oilers that's going to come on in 2 weeks, and I can't wait to speak into his life. But I promise I'm gonna get like back to Ken. But and here's how it all ties in, is that I go to this interview, and they're like, you are going to be our offensive coordinator for the 10 and 11-year-old team. And like, I just knew that was where I needed to be and where I wanted to be. There was so much passion coming out of me as I was preparing for this job. And I came across this quote as I was preparing for it, because like I didn't know why I was taking it so seriously. I now do know why I was taking it so seriously, but I just knew that my role as a coach, as a mentor in their life, needed to be, like, I needed to put my best effort forward. And that's because of the efforts that Coach Radinick and Coach Babish and others have poured into my life. And so a coach needs to be what he wants his players to become. And so I thought to say, who do I want my players to become? And I was like, well, who taught me how to play football really well? And it was South Fayette Lions. So like, I decided at that moment that I'm going to take everything that I learned being a South Fayette Lion, and I'm going to try to give it back to the kids down there at this next spot. Like, I want to try to share with it as much as they can. And so, Coach Radinick, you started coming, I started relying on a lot of the things that you taught me, right? And so, like, and every day that I've been a coach since then, I'm serious. Like, when I've stepped onto the field, I've stepped on the field hoping to honor you, hoping to honor Coach Babish, and hoping to honor a few other ones as I'm out on the field, right? And so, yeah, it's just been really big for like me. And so, but getting back to our high school career, I want to share with you a couple of really cool stories. Like, you gave me the nickname Coach, right? And I'm known by Coach Wilson. That's what everyone calls me, but you were the first one to call me that. And here's exactly the moment when you did it. I've been wanting to share this story with you for a long time. All right? So, it's a Friday night home game. I can't remember who the opponent is, but we're driving towards the scoreboard. So if here's the field, we're driving this way. And in a addition, so we're on offense, we're driving to score. And in addition to you being the defensive coordinator, you also were part of the special teams unit. And the one thing that you always did, you never failed to do, was on third down, you yelled, "Punt team, be ready. Punt team, get ready," in case we had to punt. That's a valuable thing. And being a head coach, making sure your punt team's ready to go is very critical. It's a momentum swing. It could be a momentum killer. It could be all that if your punt team's not ready. And so every third down, you would just yell, "Punt team, get ready. Punt team, get ready." And so we are driving, and we're somewhere between the 35 to the 40-yard line. I can't remember exactly which yard line it was, but we're somewhere in that spot. And third down's coming, and I'm just looking at you, waiting for you to say, "Punt team, get ready. Punt team, get ready." And you didn't say it. I was like, what the heck? So I yelled, "Punt team, get ready. Punt team, get ready." And you whipped around really quick. And you were like, not yet. We are inside the 50. We are too close to punt. That's why I didn't call it. So I was like, all right, yeah, smart. And you whipped back around to face the game, and then you turned back around and you were like, "Coach, that's who you are, Coach." And from then on out, you all called me Coach. All the coaches called me Coach. And so that nickname has stuck, and now that's who I'm known by, as Coach Wilson. And so that was such a powerful moment for me in playing high school football there. All right, here's two more really cool stories that I think are really awesome. It's my junior year, right? Well, so yeah, let me start by telling the story. My senior year, let's just be honest. I wasn't good enough to really be on the field, but I had a brain for the game, right? You all called me Coach, and the previous year, my junior year, the year that you called me coach, like I got asked to come to the coach's office in the field office one time, and like you guys very politely and graciously said, you're not allowed to answer any questions during chalk talk anymore. Like, we know you know the answers. Like, we need to make sure that everyone else knows the answer. So, like, you're not allowed to answer anymore. And I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, you're right. Micah Gumma does need to, know that Brandon Davis, Jeff Stanishevsky, Keith Chopek, Lee Pickens, Tim Gray, Anthony Neely, Wayne Wiley, Paul Weibel, Kevin Spearing, all those, Sean Bernie, like, all those guys need to know. Corey Carson, like, they all do need to know everything. Like, I don't really need to like, know all that much. I mean, I wasn't on the field anyway. So, going into my senior year, like, you all, like, knew that, like, I wasn't going to make much of an impact on the field, but, like, you could provide a very valuable experience for me. And so, like, I got called into the coach's office, and they said, Seth, they were like, Coach, we want to give you the headsets, right? So Coach Babish isn't going to wear the headsets this year. You're going to wear the headsets, and you're going to chart plays, right? And you're going to talk and communicate between the coaches. You're going to do all that. And so my entire senior year, I'm on the headsets. And, like, when I first got that, I thought, like, you mean I get to, like, wear a hat like the backup quarterbacks in the NFL do? Like, I get to look like one of those guys, and I get to put the hat on and do all that? Like, heck yeah, I'm down for that. That sounds awesome, And so, like, there it is. I am, like, every week, like I got the headsets on. We do the headset check. I got my board. I'm running to Coach Babish on offense. I'm running to Coach Radinick on defense, and, like, I got to hear you all call plays and why you called the defenses when you did, and why you, like, chose stunts that you did, and like man, the 5-2 monster defense that you all ran back then, man, was just, gosh, it's such a good defense. It actually inspired me a little bit when I became a defensive coordinator later. Like, that's another point, is that my second year my third year as an assistant coach at the varsity level, I became the defensive coordinator at the high school that I ended up becoming the head coach at. So I was the defensive coordinator for 3 years. So again, like, seriously, I'm telling you without a doubt, like, I'm now Coach Radnick is what I was thinking. Like that's who I am now. That's who I'm going to be. And so, like, but I ran a 4-2-5 defense, which is a hybrid defense, and the 5-2 monster, the way that we ran it, was a bit of a hybrid defense there, and so, like, there's a huge influence there. But anyway, back to this point here. Like, there was a moment where we're playing at Chartiers, Houston, our senior year. We've got Neil Lobig as our quarterback. Brian Smozinski is our tight end, and it's third down, and we're driving, and we need this to, like, make sure that we secure the win against Chartiers, Houston, right? And so it's third down, and Coach calls a play action where Brian Smozinski's supposed to be on the left side, right? And he's going to run a deep crossing route all the way over to the right side. Neil's going to get under center. Fake, we're going to do, like, I think it was Anthony Neely came in S motion, or maybe it was Tim Gray coming in S motion, because I think he was the right back coming S motion. And we're going to fake the handoff to the dive here. Then Neil's going to roll out right, and Brian Smozinski starts on the left, has got to go all the way across, right? And so like it's third down, and Coach Shuck was on the sidelines, and Coach Shuck was our strength coach, but he could get animated pretty fast, pretty quickly. I'm sorry, but this story's so dumb. It's one of my favorite stories of all time. So we break the huddle, and I think we just called a timeout, and Coach specifically talked about this play, and then we go to run the play, and sure enough, Brian Smozinski lines up on the wrong side, right? He lines up on the right side, and he doesn't have enough room to run that waggle, because we were on the left hash. So if he's running a waggle to the left side of the field, there's not enough room, right? That's why Coach called it for him to go to the right to run the waggle all the way across, because we have the field to be able to play with. And so he's we're about to run the play, and Coach Babish goes, timeout, timeout, timeout. And Coach Shuck goes, what are we going to timeout for? I can't believe all this stuff. And I'm and I just, without hesitation for some reason, Coach, he had to call a timeout, right? And I start telling Coach Shuck all the reasons why he had to call the timeout. And I will never forget this to the day I die, right? But Coach Radinick's got the headsets on too. And I'm telling Coach Shuck this, and Coach Radinick is just back off to the side, and I just see him sitting there going tell him, Seth, tell him, you just had this look. I'll never forget it, that you knew exactly what it is. You were just so proud of me, right? You were so proud of me that in that moment. And it was a really good moment, and and I just have never forgotten that. That was one of my all-time favorite high school football moments, was me teaching a coach why we had to call a timeout, and you on the backside there just proud of me and encouraging me, and yeah, you tell them, bro, you tell them. And so those moments were so impactful for me, and I'm just so thankful that you were who you were, and you were able to positively speak into my life, and I'll forever be indebted to the impact that you've made on me, and I'm doing my very best to make sure that I pass that on, and I make the same impact that you made on me on others. And when I open up this binder here and I read how some of the players dear Coach Wilson, football is a powerful influence in my life. Football is a powerful influence in my life, but you are more powerful than football itself. That's what one of the seniors said there, right? Dear Coach, I just want to thank you for being one of the most positive influences in my entire life. I've never met a man so passionate about life and the opportunities given to him as you. That's those players speaking about me. And I'm only able to be that guy right there because of the impact that you made on this guy right here. And Coach, I'm just so thankful for you, and I just want you to know that. I hope you watch this video here. I hope you are able to know, because you don't always know. Here it is, 22 years after you last coached, 2 decades after you last coach me, like, you're still one of the biggest influences in my life. And like, I hope that like gives you some peace. I hope that makes you feel good. I hope that makes you feel fulfilled. I hope that's validation that all your hard work that you put in as a coach paid off, because it did. Like, it so did. And so, don't be a stranger. Like, if you ever need anything, like, I'm there for you. If you ever want to talk football, like, I would love to do that, right? I'd love to share with you and show you, like, all my defense, right? Like, I'm a defensive coordinator again, right? And so, thank you. And I hope that you and your family are doing well. All right. Next week, I got the head coach, Coach Robert Babish. And it's no offense to Coach Radinick, because, I mean, he obviously had a huge impact on my life. But Coach Babish, buddy, I can't wait to share with you next week how you've positively impacted my life and my journey as a coach. So, until next Thursday.